Amy, I'm glad you're here. We have a lot to talk about. Guess I'll catch you up this way. Also, I like to have a filter on this video, and it's not like a huge filter, but it just made me feel better. And now I'm like, what is the point of doing that if I'm putting on makeup? Okay, so my heart's beating really fast. Hold on. So I have some stuff to talk to you guys about, and I feel like I have shared like so much of my life over the last decade. Well, 12 years, but decade. And you guys have questions sometimes, and I don't think I've ever like truly answered like what happened in any relationship that I've been in. I've just been like, oh, we broke up, or oh, it is what it is. But I've never like really broken. Oh my gosh, I forgot. I made notes. Hold on. Don't leave. Stay there. Hold on. 2 seconds. Okay, sorry. I forgot I made notes. So, my heart is literally racing. I don't know why. It hasn't like been anxious all day long, to be honest with you. Okay, so some of you know that this is the weekend. You know, my dad died May 5th. So Cinco de Mayo was always like a holiday that I celebrated with my girlfriend Megan. It's kind of like our thing. I texted her today and I was like, it's so weird because this used to be like our holiday and now it's this day that Pop died. Sorry, my heart is beating so fast. I'm having a little bit of anxiety. Hands are like shaky. Hold on, let me fix this light. It's really dark in my room. Yeah, my heart is like racing. Holy shit. But anyways, the point of this video is so many times you guys are like so excited for me, and I'm like, and I love that y'all get excited for me too when I'm dating. It's like so nice, you know? And it's almost like you have to tell other people like, no, people are nice. Like, don't worry about the crazy shit you see online because look how nice people are. Like, look how much they want to see me happy. So much so that it's like every single guy I've ever dated has all said the same thing. You have a very good support group, or you have really great people around you, or you are loved by a lot of other people, which is great. And I know all that, but I just don't like look at it, I guess, the way they do. I don't know. I don't know if it's because other people... You know what's funny is I'm filming this video right now and I needed something to hold up my lights. And look, hold on, let me show you what it is. Sorry, my heart's beating really fast. See that little thing? It's a jar my girlfriend Brooke made me. And it's like little sayings in there. So if I ever get like anxious or something, I can read them. Anyways, so I'm just going to put these lights up here. And I just thought that maybe this would be a good time where I actually told you every single thing that I could think of that happened in a relationship, and you guys can kind of like, I'm trying to hurry too because I want to go to the archery range, but I want to go to like a 3D range by myself today. Anyways, and so number one, you guys are always like really supportive of me being in a relationship, and dating is dating. Like, you're going to go out with people, they're going to make you feel good, you're going to make them feel good, and then it's either going to work or it's not. And I can tell you that my girlfriend, Carissa, used to tell me a million times, like, you don't know anybody till 6 months. And I'd be like, you're so ridiculous. Like, you haven't dated in so long. Like, you know somebody way before then. You don't. I promise you don't. Because have I made it to 6 months with anybody? No. And I can be the problem for sure in relationship, but I'll tell you I wasn't. But let me just tell you exactly how it all rolls out. And then you tell me. Because in this situation, hold on. Also, I didn't want to go live on this page, but I didn't have a choice because I don't have the other page. And just hold on. My heart is pounding. I'm going to have a friend come. Okay. I invited a friend. I'm like shaking. Okay, just give me a minute to get my shit together. Because what I really want to know is, like, I thought I was protecting myself. I thought I was like doing the right thing. I thought I was having boundaries. I thought I was all this. And then when my heart is literally racing. Stop. Hold on. And I'm fine. I'm way more fine than I've ever been in anything else I've been in. But also it just gets to, where is she? Come on. You're supposed to be on here. But I wanted to like tell you when she's already here. Hold on. Who's in here? Anybody know her and can text her? May, text Krista and ask her what the hell. It's racing. Shit. Okay, I'm trying, Amy. Hold on. My hands are shaking. I wasn't even anxious before this. I think it's just, there we go. It says she's online now. It's just not something I like to talk about, but also I thought about it today and I'm like, this could be so helpful for people. Because if I went straight to my friends to ask them like what is going on, and had they not given me opposite opinions, I don't even know where I'd be right now, to tell you the truth. Where is she at? Okay, join the live. I keep sending you an invitation, Krista. I've done it like 5 times and my heart's beating fast. Answer the invite. Here, I'll just leave it up. Is it not sending you an invitation? Hi, Lynn. Hi, April. Just waiting on Krista. I don't know what she's doing. Hold on. It's okay. I keep hitting the accept button. Okay, let me send you the invitation. Heart is racing. Shit. What? Why is this so difficult? All these people are waiting for you, sister. I saw that you sent me a request, but now I'm sending you one. I tried to accept it. It wouldn't let me. They're all going to be like at soccer practice by the time you... Oh my God, it said she's unable to join. Woman,
I was napping.
now you're leaving me anxious. I just told you I was going to do this. You told me it was a good idea.
I did. I didn't know I was going to be here. Hi, friends.
Okay, so listen, I told them that...
Hold on a
I
second.
told them nothing so far. Just that I'm like super anxious and that hold on. Ooh, why am I anxious? I literally haven't had anxiety all day. Okay, so the point of this, so I called Krista today and I said, you know, they always are rooting for me. They always have questions. They always want to see me happy. And I do think 99.9% of the people, it comes from a genuine place. But also, if something ever doesn't work out with somebody, then they're all left with questions and I can't answer any of them because I'm trying to take the high road and I don't want to talk about all the details. But then I started thinking about it and I was like, no, because this is a situation where I think if I had not questioned how far I'd come, I may have made other choices that would have made my life immeasurably worse. And last night I watched that on my Busy Becca page. I reposted a reel from Stephen Furtick, and he was like, right now you're struggling with something and you're trying to make the best decision for yourself, and God's trying to direct you, and you just need to let him. And he had been trying to
What's
direct
that
me
mean?
for a long time. Are you paying attention?
I'm listening to you.
Okay. And so, anyways, I was like, I
Hold
Krista, you
on.
have to
James.
go in there and mute your
Hold
phone
on.
because I'm going to get
How do I do
off
that?
track and I have anxiety right now. Just go
Okay.
get in your bed. Like, we didn't talk about this 5 minutes ago. She acts like this is news to her. I told her I'm going to put you on my video because you were there. Anyways, okay. So you don't have to mute it right now. Just go back to your room so we can have the conversation. Okay. See, now I don't even know where to start. Like, I think I'm too anxious. God. Okay, are you settled? Can I keep going now? Hello? I feel like this is a bad idea. Am I on mute? Like, if you're not annoying me, you're annoying them. So what are you doing? Just go sit and sit down.
No, James has a bunch of questions for me. He just got
No,
home.
you had questions for him earlier and he didn't want to answer them. So now's not the time. We're on the live video. I need to get this shit off my chest so I can go shoot some arrows and be done with all this.
Do you want me to be here too?
Yes.
Okay.
We had talked about this.
I know, but
I
I
don't
don't
want to
need
do
to
it by
be here, but I
myself.
can be.
Okay. So here's the deal. Wait, which part do I start with? So I went through some shit this weekend and last weekend. And if you don't know, this is
I
like the
found it.
5-year anniversary of my dad. And no, 4-year. But regardless, like it's the most like kind of not stressful, but like the saddest weekend of the year for me. Every year, there's nothing greater that's ever happened to me. My divorce wasn't this devastating as my dad dying. And so, like, which part do I start with? Like how we started dating or like what happened since?
Oh, I would
I
say how
just
you
think if
started.
women don't talk about this, then we're all going to be in our heads and we're not going to know if we're right or wrong. And sometimes you ask your friends and they tell you two different things and you don't know which way to go. And my friend group, my very close friends, told me two opposite things. But I was watching the situation. They were seeing something in person, and then Carissa was seeing something, some in person, but mostly like over the phone and text message and stuff. So it should have been the same story, and it wasn't. Okay, so to make long story short, the reason that I even thought about doing this today is because I can sit here and I can lay in bed and be sad about my dad. I can ponder what just happened this week and last weekend and last night and all that. I can get in my feelings when I wasn't in my feelings to begin with, or I can still sit here and wonder, like, did I do something? Wasn't this my choice? Like, what happened? But also, I think you get to a point where you start thinking like you might be a little bit crazy because you can't be wrong this many times, and I don't think I was actually crazy. So I literally wrote notes. Um, it says I don't usually talk about my relationships online. No, I do, but I don't talk about like why they end specifically. But I've shared my life for over 10 years, the good, bad, and the heartbreaking. This is stupid. Okay, let me just put these aside. Here's the deal. I started dating somebody earlier this year in like early February, and I wasn't really interested in anyone. I was fine by myself. I just got out that situation with Ray, and that was very mind-boggling for me because I'd never been in a situationship. I didn't know what a situationship was. I just knew that the guy acts like he likes me and he does the things and says the things, but then sometimes he says he like doesn't want anything serious. This is all about Ray, right? So moving forward, he kept telling me like, I know you can't mute the phone unless you're talking, because
How do I
it
do
like
that?
press the mute button. What do you mean? Or just go to your room where it's quiet, where you I don't know. Anyways, see, if you have ADHD, I think like little things like distract you and throw you off. And I'm already like super nervous. Anyways, the point of all that was I got into this relationship kind of on accident. Like I wasn't looking for anything, but he had pursued me a lot on Facebook, and I just thought he was married. So I like wrote him back one day and was like, if you're married, I'm not into that. Like, don't be doing that. And he was like, I'm not married. Anyways, fast forward to um no, let me tell you before that. I'm hopping around. I'm horrible at this. Like when you know you have to tell something, it's like, why am I so annoying? So after I got out of my little situationship with Ray in January, I was like, what the hell? Or February, I don't even know when that was. But I was like, now I'm on like high alert because I was foolish and I didn't understand what a situationship was. And honestly, he's not a bad guy, right? He told me like, I know you can't be agreeing to what I want because a girl like you wouldn't agree to this, so you must not understand it. And he kept trying to get me to understand what he wanted, but I didn't know what a situationship was because if you like me and I like you, then what's the problem? Apparently, a situationship is where I like you and you like me, but you really like just the place that I am and not like it's not something you want to like pursue long term. Also, with Ray, there was so much potential for like long term stuff because his career aligns with mine. He's super intelligent. He's very smart. I can have like logical conversations with him. He's easy to be around. He's hot, whatever, all the things. So, but the thing that didn't line up, like literally everything lined up except for he had just gotten a divorce and I've been out of that season for a while, and he thought that he needed to go out there and, you know, play in the streets, and like if you think you need that then go, but don't come back. And So it was just hard to understand. And then I finally got it, and everything's fine. Like we can be friends. I told him the other day, like I talk to you because I know I can be like platonic with you and not have like feelings. So to me, that's growth. But the point of that is getting into this next situation, I was like definitely on high alert about things. And I didn't want to be like self-sabotaging or like anxious or having an anxious attachment. And I'm aware of attachment styles, and I used to be what I thought was securely attached. I've definitely become more anxious since then. But I'm like, these girls are dealing with this shit too, because they message me every single day in my DMs, and they're like, I went through a hellacious divorce. It's so nice to see you happy. I hope I find that for myself too. And then you're thinking like, hold on, you don't even know. Or like when people are rooting for you to be happy and stuff, and you're like, okay, I'm glad you're happy that I'm happy, but also like, let's hold on because we don't know. Like, we don't know how this is going to work out. So let's not like put all our eggs in one basket. So I felt like I was trying to like preserve my energy, but my friends were excited for me, understandably so. Look, I'm already doing it in the wrong order. So, anyways, which part do I tell him for? Okay, so on our very first date, he drove like an hour and a half each way, took a day off of a half day off vacation, came out here, like we hung out, it was so nice. Um, and he was a nice guy, and I thought he was cute, and he liked to hunt, and I thought he, hunted with a bow, and that's what I'm
Y'all's
interested in, and I want to be,
y'all's
huh?
first date was right before you came to meet me on the cruise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he did that because he said I was leaving. And so he wanted to make sure that he had time before we got in. I don't know why this makes me so nervous. Like, I already like removed him so he doesn't have to see any of this. But also he can watch it if he wants to. Because my questions are for you guys. Because I want to know, like, am I regressing or am I progressing? And what can I teach you guys that I learned too? Because my three best friends over here and one best friend over here. These are the people that saw mostly the in-person stuff and not heard the words. And this is the one that heard the words. And they had two different opinions about this guy the entire time. And so I was just thinking like, okay, Carissa doesn't want me to like him because she wants me to be with somebody else, because I do have like an ex situation that is trying to come back in the picture, and he is offering to like save my day and my life and all that. And I'm just like, I don't want to do that because I don't want to be like, I don't want to owe anything to anybody. But Carissa, like, when she talks about it, she does say like the way you talk about him and the way all this kind of shit. Anyways, so I was like, well, this guy, the rancher, he's here and he's, local, and and we're just going to try it out and see what happens. But I just didn't want anything serious. And I've said that like this whole time. Like, I'm not trying to get a boyfriend before my kid graduates high school. Hold on, I need to move this so I can see myself a little more because I can't see my forehead. Anyway, so we go on our first date and it's great. And he's like super empathetic and emotional. And he like told me that he cried when he watched the TikTok stories about my ex-husband and all the stuff he did. And I was like, oh, that's so nice. He's like emotionally intelligent. I literally told my friends that. But also later on, I thought it was weird that I didn't send him any of those TikToks. He went and found them on his own. But also, he wasn't watching my stories in the end. So if you were watching my stories in the beginning, but I think this whole story is like about inconsistency and patterns, and if you're freaking crazy or if you're actually recognizing these issues. So I don't know how much to tell him through the middle. He pursued me like crazy. He showed up, he did all the things. He like, would like tell me how great I was and how he'd never dated, and that was a red flag too at first, where I said, hold on, you said you've not dated before, and I don't want to date somebody who's not dated anybody since they've been divorced. And he's like, well, I've been on dates, just nothing serious, and the last one broke up we stopped talking because my ex reached out to her and she didn't want to deal with that. And so I was like, okay. But also that sets the tone for the ex too, so remember that.
He also told
And
you
then,
he was all in from the very
oh yeah,
first
the
date.
very first
Like
day
when
he
she
texted me.
got to Miami to meet me, he had told her like, I'm all in, like there's no one else for me, like I
I'm
had the
fully
best date
committed to
ever.
you. And I
Yeah.
was like, unfortunately, I'm not there yet, because I was still like, I didn't know what I wanted. I don't have to have a reason. I just wasn't. It was like, well, he told me the same day of the first date, like, leaving that date today validated the feelings I was having for you. And as much as that would usually be like something every girl would love to hear, to me, it was kind of like, whoa, wait, what feelings? Like, we just started talking, like, you don't even know if I'm crazy yet. So, but also I was like, okay, just let it happen, Becca. Stop blocking your blessings. So And it was making me stop thinking about the Ray situation too, which I was like, the dude lives down the street from me. So like I see him all the time and he's fun and easy, and it just that whole situation pissed me off because I had been single for a whole year. And anyway, so but it got my mind off that. So I was like, okay, we're good. So he said all that. And then I told him on the cruise, like, hey, I'm not there yet, but like, I appreciate that. And he's like, I understand it's a hard pill to swallow. You're just this great girl. And it's like, you know, that meme where it's like, of course I fall for love bombers because why wouldn't you love me? Wait, what did somebody say? Clean your phone, Carissa.
I
They said.
did. I don't know why the lens is blurry.
Okay. So I thought at first too, like, could any of this be love bombing? But there was so much like it sounded like emotional intelligence that I was like, I don't think it's really love bombing because I was love bombed by the steroid guy, Ryan, who went on the podcast later. But he like was telling me he loved me from day one, and this just wasn't that kind of connection. This was a connection where the things that he was telling me he liked were things that I would want somebody to like in me, not like you're pretty or like you know you're successful. It was more like I'm proud of you, or you've overcome so much, or you've been through a lot of shit and you're still a really nice person. That's the shit that like reels me in. Anyway, so we go on the cruise, and while we're on the cruise everything's great and we're talking every day all day. And I don't know why I didn't think that was a red flag either, but anyways, while we're on the cruise, one of the nights he like goes out with his friends, and typically he would like say goodnight every night before he would go to bed, and we started developing like a routine. Well, while we were on the cruise, that routine changed a little bit because he went out with his friends and then didn't call, didn't text, nothing till the next day. So I just said, good night, I hope you're safe. And then the next morning he wrote me and was like, oh, I'm sorry, I stayed out with my friends all night. Not a big deal. Not anything I even realized happened until today when I was going back and reading through the text. Because you know you do that. Anyways, and so I guess we had a conversation. Carissa heard it. I don't remember all the details of that conversation. Maybe I was like in shock or something, but Carissa definitely does. And she has always maintained that she didn't like that conversation and she thought she saw a different side of him than I was seeing. I also could have had my rose colored glasses on then because I just wanted to believe that this was real. Amy said, hold on. Yeah. Yeah, he did go on the Crazy Stalkers podcast. Uh a guy who did it isn't. Yes, it is. It's gross. And the guy that she had on her podcast, like, I never told y'all all the details about that too, because I didn't want my kid to find out. But like, that guy smashed a pineapple on my counter, so like, I did the right thing by getting out of that. And he jumped in front of my car, and then he told on the podcast that I did it. But that's just a crazy thing. I don't deal with that kind of stuff. That's like way too much for me. I'm surprisingly as crazy and high strung as I sound to you guys in relationships. But in relationships, I'm incredibly peaceful. And like anybody will tell you that. It's like a different girl. I don't know it either. It's like a different girl because I just want to be soft and feminine, and I don't want to be in a masculine relationship. With you guys, like I can act like a hood rat, I can act like a business girl, I can do whatever. And you guys know me so well that like you know all of me. Anyways, so and I don't ever try to like I am who I am on like dating from day one. So I'm always like we're looking for these guys to start doing all these things or acting different or lose a mask or whatever TikTok tells us. But like I don't get any different. However I am is how I am. So anyways, we have this conversation while we're on the cruise, and I guess what happened, Krista? He was like saying shit she didn't like that
Oh,
probably
he's
I
just
shouldn't
really
like.
cocky, and he was with his friends, and he was just acting like, just like a young, immature guy, like just not somebody who she would normally date. And he was just, I don't remember if he was vulgar or like what he was, but I remember he was like, the way he was talking was just not like you were like, oh, I don't know if I like the way he's talking to me. I was like, I definitely don't like the way he's talking to you.
Yeah, like kind of aggressive, you know? And like when he got really drunk that night, he called me one of the nights when I was on the cruise and I'd said something about the him not saying anything or like, you know, I was like, do you do this a lot? Or, you know, because I'm trying to gauge it. My dad was an alcoholic, so was my ex-husband. So and at one point he says, I'm gonna what did he say? He said, I'll tell you like I tell all the other fucking ones. And I was like, wait, what? Or no, he said the last fucking one. And I was like, what? What do you mean the last one? But also, why are you cussing while you're saying it? Like it sounded aggressive. I wasn't used to that. But I was like, okay, just a pink flag. We'll keep going. So, but I thought in my head that Krista had it made up in her head from that day that he wasn't the one for me. So whenever she would tell me opposite advice of Cassie, Shay, or Jade, I'd be like, I don't understand. How's it so different? So we went through we like dating, all that was fine. And then I know that there, according to him, it's like really tumultuous with his ex-wife, but there a lot of things happen where like even if it's tumultuous, like you're not setting any kind of boundaries at all. And so like one time a couple weeks ago we were hanging out the day we went to the archery range and he mowed my grass. I think it was that day. He had said she called his phone like 51 times and I was like, "Oh fuck. I don't know if I want to deal with that." Like that's a special kind of crazy. But also I don't know her side of the story, but I have seen her blow his phone up and I have seen her like text in all caps. I also do not think for 2 seconds that he does not do that to her because of the person that I know too. Anyways, and there were other things like the boundaries that she or the things that she was telling him. It was like he's still being controlled, but also I think he's probably somebody who had to be controlled in his relationship. And Ben was somebody where I like told him what to do too, and I did not want to repeat that with another partner. So I was like, "Oh shit, he's got to come up with these boundaries or it's going to be bad for us." So everything was good. Like the
Also,
only thing,
sorry. Also, the main thing to understand about my opinion versus the other girl's opinion was they saw him in person with her, which is what she told me. Like, it's so good when we're in person. But I witnessed all the conversations that when they were apart from each other, and she's like, and they were apart from each other like half the time. And if they were going to be in this relationship together, they were going to be apart half the time because he does not live where she lives.
and he has his
And
kids 50% of the
yeah,
time.
and his kids are very young.
And I
Um,
thought like, okay, that's cool. I can be a stepmom. That's cool. I can start over and do all that. Fuck that. No, I don't. I don't want to do that. If you have young kids, I'm out. No, not dealing with a baby mama. I'm not dealing with crazy ex. I'm not dealing with no boundaries. I'm not dealing with little kids and their schedules and all the shit they need. And I'm not dealing with how you parent because one of my first actual red flags was I did not like the way he parented. Not that he parents poorly. It just doesn't align with my parenting. So it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. Just the things that were said and done were not how I am, and I'm a gentle parent. So I would need to align with somebody else who's also a gentle parent. So all that being said, can we just get to the crazy part? So everything was great. We went to the ranch. We do all these things. He's offering to buy me all this shit, and I don't want that shit. I just want like attention and time. I don't need like things. I did that when I was married. So everything's great. Like even up to like 2 weeks, no, not even 2 weeks ago, he was offering to buy me like a $200 pair of shoes. But some of that was kind of a red flag for me because number one, like why is all these dudes buying me shoes? Like I'm gonna get a type now. But also I don't need that. Like they're too expensive and I don't know how much money he has, but I know a lot about his situation that he's told me, and I feel like maybe we shouldn't be doing all that. And so, all that just to say, over the last 2 weeks, it's been awful. And it was really hard. So, last weekend was the archery challenge. I got into archery because I wanted to date a guy who knew how to shoot a bow so I could pull my bow out and start using it again. I'd gone to Africa in 2019, took my ex husband. Y'all know that whole story. Like, I paid for everything. He shot all the animals, whatever. He got to keep them in the divorce, whatever. But I also have never got to shoot anything at a deer lease I paid for 17 years, and that's just shit I like. Like, and then after I tried it again, I really loved it. Also, the first time we'd ever gone on like a weekend date, we went to this ranch, and that the troll said was like his ex-wife's family, but he swears it's not. I still don't know to this day. I don't think it is, but also I do not care. I just know the water didn't work the entire time and he didn't know how to turn it on. And I thought that was kind of weird if you don't know how to turn the water on. Number one, you're a dude, you'll figure that shit out. But number two, like if you're here all the time and I believe that he was, then how do you not know how to turn the valve? Also, why aren't you asking anybody? So that was kind of like the first evidence of like the avoidance part of the personality. Um, anyways, I'm getting to it. So sorry. Uh, so anyways, let's just fast forward to last week. So last Thursday, I am at the gas station down the street from my house, and I'm telling my friends, like, you know what, guys, like, I have to make a decision in a couple weeks if he's going to meet my kid and my brothers and my family. Like, I don't know that. Oh, you couldn't. Oh, that's why you couldn't see me. That's why I couldn't see my whole face. I'm like, I can't see my whole face. Okay. So, yes, we're talking about the rancher. So, number one, when all that stuff came out, so here was my first like glaring red flag. So, when the trolls found out who he was, which I don't know how they found out because I don't read it. I honest to God don't read it. Sometimes I wish I did because I could control the narrative, but I don't ever want to control the narrative. I want what comes out of my mouth to be honest, transparent, and flow freely. So, he found out about who the trolls were, or they found out about him, and he he made that was the first thing, the picture with the horse. Was that the first thing we posted? I don't know. But I reposted that, and you guys thought, a lot of you guys thought that they made that graphic. And as it was, the messages were coming in, I was like, oh shit, do they think that he made it or they made it? Because they would say stuff like, who does crazy shit like that? Who has that much time on their hands? All those questions. And I'd be like, oh fuck, he's the one that made that. Like, do they think somebody else did? But also, like, okay, I'm just gonna ignore it. And at first, you have like 10% of you that's like, oh, look, he's showing that he cares because this is how unbothered he is. But 90% of me called Carissa and was like, I think this is a red flag. Like, why does he even entertain them? Like, sometimes I'll say stuff, but like, they've been around for 10 or 12 years. I have never given them the platform that they give me, for sure. So, anyways, I was like, maybe I'm being too judgy, but like, this is kind of like a red flag for me. I said it was cute. That's why I posted the text on my other Instagram today to show you what I wrote back. And that was the first time I'd said I liked him back like that. Because in this relationship, I had been very like reserved with my feelings because I didn't know. And because since the cruise, there was just some little thing that didn't feel right. And my friends were like, you just need to learn how to let someone love you. And look, he shows up for you. And I was like, okay, okay, okay. That's what you're saying. Well, anyways, all the good things happen. Everything's great. I get into archery. He comes over that day and he offers to like mow my grass, and I didn't ask him to do any of that stuff. And we go to the archery range, and I think that's the first day that like he shot with me that much. Like we had gone before, but not like this. Or I don't even know if we'd gone before, whatever. So we went, I shot really well, and I could tell he was like perturbed by it. And I'm not that kind of person, but he also said things like, it makes me so happy to know how much you love this and how good you are, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, he's proud of me. Krista doesn't necessarily think he's necessarily too proud, but that's okay. I don't know. I can't do that. So fast forward to last weekend in the archery challenge. The day before the archery challenge, I had called him and hold on, let me make sure there's nothing crazy happening down here I haven't seen. Sounds to me like, yeah. Yeah, in the spotlight thing, that wasn't, yeah, powerful, secure, quality men do not engage in that behavior. And that's what I expected. Like, Ray didn't engage. They mailed a letter to his house and he did not engage. He was not like anything. He's like, they are fucking crazy. But right away when he did that, like the unhealed me would have saw that as like, oh, that's so sweet. Look, he really likes me. The healed me immediately saw that this is kind of off. This doesn't look right. Also, he had talked about his friends to me. He'd talked to me about, he'd shown me his text messages with his friends, so they definitely knew who I was. They had sent him screenshots of my Facebook group saying that their like wives are in there. They knew who I was, or something I talked about online. They were like, "Are you the rancher?" And he sent them back a picture of us. And then one time we went to a bar, and a guy that was in the bar that I'd never heard him talk about asked, "Is that the girl from Facebook?" And since Facebook is how I met him, not Facebook dating, but like Facebook Messenger, I was like, oh, I guess he's talking about me. Again, like every time there was something good, I was telling myself, like, no, you should believe it. You should ignore everything because look at this. And anyways, and you repeat all those good things back to your friends, which I repeat everything. But anyways, when we were together, it was very easy, comfortable, fun, whatever. He's spending like hundreds of dollars every weekend to come out here and stay at a hotel because he can't stay in my house because my kid's here. He's taking me all these places and doing all these things. But also very quickly we fell into a routine of like a normal couple where it's not like going out and getting shit faced all night. It's like normal stuff. Like we went to Shields on a date and we went to like dinner and hung out, like just normal calm stuff, not balls to the walls. And I told him before, like, I don't like the drinking thing. I feel like you drink a ton, and that's a big deal for me because my dad drank a lot and blah blah blah. And so like he showed up at my house a couple times without a case of beer, and I'm over here thinking that he just, solved world peace. And so, because you're trying to tell yourself to not listen to this rumble that's inside. So I need to get this over with. Moving on to the archery thing. So he's the one that got me into archery, right? Also when we were at the ranch the very first weekend, and I feel like my face is itching because of this freaking brush. The hair's come out of it. And there's probably, oh, there is a little bit of piece of fuzz on my face. Okay, I got it. So that first time at that ranch, I didn't know how to shoot the bow because I bought the bow in 2019. I bought the best equipment we money could buy, and then we went to Africa, and then I didn't shoot shit, and then I just had a bow for 6 years, and I had a picture with the bow, and like I wanted to actually know what I was doing. So I went there. I didn't know how to shoot the bow. I thought he was going to show me, but now I realize like he thought I already knew what I was doing, and that's totally understandable. Um and so I like misfired the first shot of the bow, and he yelled at me. And I remember telling my friends like, "Whoa, he like yelled at me about miss not that he was yelling at me. It was that I saw like uh he was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I was like, "Huh?" Like what? And then I was like, oh, it must have been a huge mistake. Like I guess I could have hit him with the arrow, and I could have, but I didn't. Anyways, every shot after that was like right on target. So I never had the issue again, and I just dropped it. So fast forward to the archery challenge last week. Um, he had originally told me like he was gonna make me a checklist, and maybe it's because I'm putting my makeup brushes on my carpet that I'm getting all this fuzz on my face. Because this is ridiculous. I'm trying to tell a story here. Hold on. Look, it's all these freaking little fuzz things. And that is gonna annoy the shit out of me. Hold on. Okay. Oh my god, they're everywhere. What the fuck? Are we good now? Okay. So how do I sum this up, Krissa? Because I feel like we talked about way more. I go to the archery thing. The day before the archery thing, I tried to cut things off. I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I'm not upset or anything. It's just your level of consistency has faltered dramatically over the last couple weeks. And it seems like it timed out around when I said I had feelings back. Because he had been calling me his girlfriend literally since like week one. And I'm like, you're not my boyfriend. You got to quit saying that. Number one, like, I told my kid I wouldn't have a boyfriend until he graduated, and I want to stick to that. And number two, like when you're someone's boyfriend, like there's work to be put in. So I used to tell him like I'm not your girlfriend until like I see a room full of balloons and flowers and you asking me the question. And like a couple weeks ago, I even sent him a meme of somebody else doing that. I knew that fuzz was gonna get my eye of somebody else doing that for someone, and he goes, "What am I looking at in the picture?" And I'm like, "It says, 'Will you be my girlfriend?' and it's like a flower arch,
But
so
for
you
the
know what
record,
you're
he
looking."
also sent you flowers very early on.
Yeah, like a 300 something dollar bouquet of flowers, he said it was. Maybe it's because I'm touching my robe. Like, what is the deal? Anyways, but I just thought, okay, that's really nice. Like, I'd rather have your time, but I appreciate the flowers. But then, like, when our 2 month little anniversary, whatever came around, like, he didn't even acknowledge it. And I'm like, that's weird. Buy me $300. But okay, I just want to be grateful. So I just need to be thankful. So right before the archery challenge, I just call him and I'm like, I just don't think I want to do this. Like, there's a lot of drama going on with your ex. Like, he's telling me that his ex is accusing him of dating this other girl, and he keeps bringing this girl up. And I'm like, why are you telling me about this girl and your ex when, like, I've never suggested you were dating somebody else? Like, I would have fully told you he was committed, but he brought it up like three different date weekends. And then he told me that him and his friends, so you tell me what you think. What would you believe? He tells me that he went to a crawfish with a couple that's he's friends with, and that he brought his kids. And that his ex-wife freaked out because she saw a picture of this girl, we'll call her Britt. So Britt was in the picture with the kids and the two friends, but he said he had dipped off to the bathroom. And so I was like, okay, like it's no big deal. And he said his ex-wife was like going crazy, getting mad because somebody posted the picture and it had his kids in it. Well, then later on, like Easter weekend, there was a big to-do about posting pictures with the kids on Easter again. It was like a big old thing. So, and he would like take her calls in the bathroom and he'd be gone for like 15 minutes or so. Oh, this is important too before the archery thing. So, like the week and two before the archery thing, like he came over and he turned his phone off for like 24 hours. And he told me that he did that because his ex-wife had called so much and he didn't want to deal with her. And basically, like that he was so avoidant about it that he just didn't want to deal with her. And if he turned his phone off, he wouldn't have to like impede any of our time. He apologized for how much of our time it took up, all this stuff. But I also told him, like, you can just put her on do not disturb, or like you can just answer her questions, or you can just tell her, like, hey, this isn't healthy communication for co parents. So, like, unless it involves the kids, like, I don't want to talk about it. But instead, that isn't what happened. He would say, like, oh, she'll threaten to take him away, whatever. So I was like, okay. And I was trying to understand from my friends' perspectives, like, when your kid's getting threatened to be taken away, you can be unrealistic. But in actuality, like, just have boundaries. So he, um, but there was a whole lot with that situation. And I was also like how does she think you're dating some other girl when like you put a Hidden Valley Ranch sticker on the back of your truck, like you made these memes, like you're with me every single weekend and during the week sometimes. Like she was like, "Why'd you turn in your phone off? You're not allowed to do that." Blah blah blah. I was like, "Just tell her you are allowed to do that, and if she has an emergency, blah blah blah." But he kept his phone off from like the night before all through the next day too. And I'm like, well, maybe that just shows how much willpower he has because like who would want to not have their phone all day long? Also, another thing that was odd was we went to Shields one time and he was like recording me. And I thought it was so cute. But then we were supposed to be there for a long time and then suddenly he wanted to leave and I couldn't figure out like what's going on. Like the vibe just shifted. And he said that there was somebody there that is a coworker of his ex-wife's and that, she came to say hi. So I'm like, does that have anything to do with why we suddenly left? Because like you didn't even buy anything. He like got a credit card for the place, but then like didn't buy anything. So I just thought that was weird. And aren't we here for you to look at stuff too, not just me? So it was like a lot of weird stuff like that. So gets to the point of the archery thing, and I'm just done. Like with the lack of boundaries and this is like impeding my time now, and I have to decide in a couple weeks if you're going to meet my kid and my family. My brothers are all coming to Texas. He's FaceTimed with my family before, but I'm never a part of his life. Like he doesn't talk to me in front of any of his family. Um, he lived at his parents' house still because of the divorce stuff, I guess, and like he would always like go in the other room to talk, or he would like say hold on, and then you could tell he was like putting the phone down. And so I just thought that was kind of weird because if I'm important enough to be the first girl that he would always tell me, like, you're the first girl that's ever made me even want to date people again. And like, you're the first girl that's made me consider any of this. If I'm not going to date, he told me all last night, like, if I'm not going to date you, I'm not going to date anybody. And I'm like, sir, that doesn't concern me. But the reason I'm telling you all this long ass shit today is because I really did think I was maybe going nuts. And I want to figure out, like, was I regressing or did I understand what was going on? So I tried to break up with him right before the archery challenge because he's telling me like I just don't want to disappoint you and um and all these things are like coming out of nowhere and I'm like disappoint me, like we haven't talked about expectations, we haven't talked about any of this stuff, like it's just gone really well all the time. So where are you getting that? Am I telling you that you're disappointing me? And so um I talked to my girlfriends after I had that conversation with him, and Shay, the C's. So Shay, Jade, and Cassie. And they're all telling me, like, you're being ridiculous, you're self-sabotaging, you're in self-protection mode. You need to just let it happen. He's not saying that he doesn't want to do these things for you. He's saying he's scared. He's probably catching feelings right now and doesn't know if if he's going to be able to perform. And I'm like, but he's been performing, so it doesn't make any sense. Anyways, listen, the fact is, if a guy says I cannot meet your expectations and you don't even fucking have any and the bar's on the floor, just go. So that's really what he's saying is, I don't want to. Or I found something else or whatever. It doesn't even matter. He could say, I like cheese sticks and you're not a cheese stick. Like that's a no. So I told my girlfriends, you guys have to tell me what's really going on. Like, am I misreading this? Because if I go down to Carissa's house for that archery weekend and I tell her everything that's been going on that I haven't told her so far, she's going to tell me I'm going to be single when I come home on Sunday for sure, because she's not going to tell me what you are telling me. And I couldn't understand why they had different like opinions. And now I definitely understand now because now they all think the same thing. So I kept telling my friends, like, no, I feel like this hole is missing and this hole is missing and all these little things are like adding up to be big things. And they were just like, no, you're overthinking it, which I can understand that, but I wasn't understanding that. Also, yeah, being off the phone for 20. Oh, no, there's way worse ones than that one, honey. So, anyways, the other thing is sometimes he'd bring up church stuff but I never saw him go to church. But yeah, he had that Bible verse tattooed on him, which is a huge plus to me, even if it was spelled wrong. I thought it was funny. But then also like he said something about the Bible says XYZ, and you know me, I'm in. Like that'll get you 10 bad points knocked off. Don't show this to any dudes in the future, but I'm gonna make them recite the books of the Bible backwards. Or just tell me how many books are in it. The answer is 66. And I told him the other day, I was like, just so you know, I actually read the Bible. I just don't spout off quotes on my Instagram. Anyways, and uh, so I call him back after I talk to the girls, not Carissa. Haven't told her anything. Haven't told her I tried to break up with them, nothing. Because I wasn't like as emotionally invested as I thought he was, but I was getting there. I just told him the day that he mowed my grass, like, I think I might actually believe you are who you say you are. And I remember looking at him in his face and thinking, like, I don't know if this is a good connection I'm feeling right now or a bad connection. Like I remember standing in front of him. I can remember exactly what his eyes looked like, where the sweat was on his face. And I remember like pausing in that moment and thinking like, did I just like look at his soul is how I felt. But I had told him like, okay, maybe I am on the same page. Because he would always say stuff like, I think you're in love with me. And I'd be like, I'm not the one falling in love. You are. And he'd be like, you're damn right. Like it was way past like, we're just dating or I'm no, whatever. Like we are way past that. So he literally called me his girlfriend from the beginning and did not stop. And I would be like, I'm not your girlfriend. But sometimes I would say it back to him too, or like when I was talking about it, like the separation of it all, I would say like a breakup. And it wasn't really, I never thought that he had done the real, something in my body said, don't ever call him your boyfriend. Number one, you can't, but number two, this isn't how a boyfriend would act. So we text good morning, good night every night. We had conversations every night before he went to sleep. And then it was like the same routine at night. Like we would always have the conversation right before he went to bed, but he was always like stressed out and annoyed. And so I asked him, the other day, like, do you ever have a good day? Because I feel like every day is like a bad day. I talk to you at the end of the day. We talk by text during the day, but I'm busy, he's busy. And then at the end of the day, I feel like it's always like the worst version of you because you're exhausted or you have your kids and it's overwhelming, whatever. And so he was like, no, I have good days all the time. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm just whatever. I don't know. But also, like, if you're going to bitch about your job that much, then change it. If you're going to bitch about your boundaries with your ex that much, he said he didn't even know what boundaries were, but that me and his mom told him the same thing, boundaries. And so that he needs to get some. Because you're like watching this person that you care about, like getting railroaded according to him. I don't know the real story. All I know is that he told me that they had been split up for forever and that she slept with her boss and that he found out about it. And so I was looking at him as a man who had been cheated on and was like had been with somebody for a really long time. I don't know if any of that is true. Honestly, I don't think that is true. And that's really unfortunate. It's always been in my gut because he told me that he ran into the guy at the grocery store later on and that he shook his hand. And I thought, that's weird. I definitely wouldn't have shaken someone's hand that did that. But then he also said he didn't make her quit her job because she's like really high paid or something. So doesn't matter. I don't necessarily believe any of that, but it doesn't matter. So I try to break up the day before the archery thing, and then I call him back and say, hey, I talked to my girlfriends. They told me I'm overreacting, so I just want to apologize. I think I'm just catching feelings now, and it's making me really think about stuff. I don't know if that was me catching feelings, real feelings at that point, or God like shaking my nervous system up so much till I woke up. So, anyways, I was like, we're good. I'm not going to break up with you. You're not breaking up with me. We're good. I'm going to San Antonio tomorrow. Everything's going to be great. He's on speakerphone on my chest. And I was like, right? And instead of saying yes, or like, sounds good, or I'm glad you figured it out, or I'm glad they helped you, he was like, I guess we'll see. And Cassie's like, dude, like you just had the opportunity to reassure her. And instead you said, I guess we'll see. So, anyways, the archery stuff comes along, and when I tell you, like I was the most anxious I've probably been in 4 or 5 years, like 3 or 4 years at least. Like I was having panic attacks while I was shooting. He didn't call Friday night, so I drove all the way down to Newport, and everything I'm going to tell you is normally the opposite way. So it's not saying I require any of these things. It's saying these were par for the course and they were not happening. Okay. And some of them I'd addressed and he'd said, oh, I didn't realize I hadn't been texting you good morning. Like what? Anyways, and so also another big thing for me was he would always say he was going to sleep at like 11 o'clock, but then he would be on social media all night long. Like 4 o'clock in the morning, he's active. 1 o'clock in the morning, he's active. Or he would tell me like, oh yeah, I slept for XYZ. He slept a lot. And then like I'm like, it says he was active 38 minutes ago. Like I don't even want to see that. But like when I'm on there and I send a message to somebody, like it shows you how long other people in your messenger have been active too. And I told he's like, yeah, what did he say, Carissa? That he didn't know?
Oh, he told her that he's like, how would you even know that? And he's like, I don't even know when I was on. And he goes, but how would you know if I was on? He's like, how would you even look at that?
Yeah, and he was like kind of defensive about it. Guaranteed she has a different size. Oh, I am 100% sure. Because it gets way worse. So, anyways, I'm at the archery thing. He doesn't call me Friday night the whole time I drive down there. And this man is a man who's told me I should never have to put my own air in my tires. He acts like he's so like he would cry about the stuff that happened to me with Ben, or he would tell me he cried. He did cry one time when we were at walk-ons talking about Ben's sister in that situation, which I thought was a little bit weird because it wasn't even that intense, and he's like getting teary. So I don't know if that was performative or not, but ChatGPT told me that was. So because I uploaded all of our texts for it to let me know. Um, and also he would what was that other thing? I don't know. But anyways, so he didn't. Oh, he would like. I searched beat drive safe. Let me know when you get home in my phone and pulled it up like 11 times. Like he would constantly be like, I'm anxious as fuck for you. I want to make sure you get off that plane safely. Like over and over, so like much. And
Also,
then
can I
right
pick you up from the airport?
yeah, and he did. But then when I went to California at the beginning of April, when I started like kind of having a little bit of feelings, he didn't offer to take me to the airport, and that's fine. I honestly didn't even think about it till now. I'm trying to compile this list of things that made me go, huh. Anyways, and so just things were changing a little bit. He doesn't call me the whole time I drive down there, which is odd to me.
And I
And then
told
he
her, I was like, it'll be okay. I was like, you don't have to figure this out now. I was like, he has like 4 hours to like call you, like just get in the car or whatever. I thought for sure he would call her while she was driving or send her a text or something.
nothing.
Nothing.
There's nothing. And I was like, okay, that's weird. So at 9:35, he tells me he woke up for after another 3 hour after work nap. He has a lot of those. And then he said, also the reason I'm saying all this out loud today is because everybody stays quiet to protect everybody else's feelings, but what about the person who like was being honest in the relationship, or the person who thought they were going crazy, or the person who like, all I want to know is, was I right or wrong? Like, I'm not mad at him. He can go do whatever he wants to do. Just please stay away from me. Like I've said like 4 different times this week, and the message just wasn't going through. But we'll get to that. So I go through the Archer day. He doesn't ask like how it's going. He's not texting me good morning. He doesn't text me. So he tells me at 9:35 that he's going to dinner with his friend at Culpeppers Friday night, 9:35. He doesn't text me again till 5:45 in the morning. Like I'm 42 years old. Why are you don't have the access to be able to text me at 5:45 in the morning. Number one, that's gross. Number two, like what are you doing with yourself? You're like almost 40 years old and staying out till 5:45 in the morning. And, like you knew when you sent me that text, I would ask like, why the fuck are you out there? But you also know I have this like archery thing today that I'm freaking out about, and you're the guy that got me into it and my hype guy for it. So like why why are you like leaving me in this anxiousness? And my anxiousness is not his problem, but when you have done a consistent job of like quelling that anxiousness before, like I asked him like, what do you think you could bring to the table in this relationship, blah blah. We've had those kind of conversations, and he's like, I'll be super loyal for you and I'll be your emotional support. He's like, obviously I can't like buy you a mansion, but I can be emotionally supportive. So if you tell me what you can be, I'm going to expect that you be that. I don't even require it, but when you're not going to be that, then I'm going to have questions. So I go through the archery thing. We like chit chat here and there. And he basically just says, like, I was out with my friends last night. We stayed out all night drinking cigars and chatting. It was no big deal. But then later on, he's like, what? Can I not hang out with my friends? And I'm like, of course you can. But that's like, you used to send me selfies every time you were out of you and your friends. So they know you're sending that picture to a girl. You used to like send me a picture of the scenery. I don't require any of those things. They're just things that were always consistent. He would like text me and be like, I miss you, or I'm anxious as fuck to see you. We've had none of those conversations. And so lately, anyways, and so I go through the archery thing. I'm barely talking to him, and I'm just getting to the point where I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm in fucking Candyland right now. And I'm like having anxiety attacks because there's no answer. It isn't even that I wanted a certain answer. I just wanted there to be an answer. And I had kept trying to get away from the situation, and he just wasn't letting that happen. So I go through the archery thing, go to Chris's house after. We have a conversation on the phone for 2 hours. Also, some other shit has happened before, and Chris was on the phone while this stuff is happening, like him three-waying me with one of his friends one time about this whole scenario that I think was completely fabricated. And like he brings this guy on the phone. Like it was the weirdest shit. I'm like, Chris, why? Because I brought Chris on the phone. Just so you know, sir, Chris was on three-way in that entire phone call. That's why I was so quiet. I just listened. Because I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, why is this other guy getting involved? And why is he saying, why aren't we going to the ranch? And you just offered to buy me $300 snake boots for the ranch, and now we're not going. It was just this push and pull. So we go through the archery thing, and I'm pissed at that point because you can't come back from that. The fact that you would leave me anxious at a time that you should not have, it just tells me a lot about like your character. And that to me means more than like, oh, if he was rude one day or just tired or grumpy. If you're actually like gonna leave me anxious, I that's my biggest trigger for my marriage. So I don't want to do that. Also, I've put in a lot of fucking work to try to be emotionally healthy. So I feel like I'm recognizing these red flags. My girlfriends are telling me I'm overreacting, self-protection, self-sabotage, all that. So I go down to Chris's. She's there the whole weekend. She sees I'm texting him going, "Are you okay? Hey, I'm gonna go to bed now. I hope everything's fine. Like, this is weird. I haven't heard from you. Like, everything's supposed to be super good." So we go back to Chris's house. We have like a 2-hour phone call. Monday night, this past Monday. He goes on and on. What does he say, Carissa? What does he want in the phone call?
Oh, well, he was just Blake being Blake, and he was staying out
He's
till
like, I
5 in the morning,
I
and
do
that
want
was
to fix
fine.
it. I do want to fix it. I'm like, there shouldn't be
Yeah.
anything to fix though. And he's like, no, I want to continue seeing you and I want us to continue what we're doing. And I'm sorry. But there was never like a, what are you going to do to not do that anymore? It was, we both got off the phone with him and Krista goes, I got nothing out of that 2 hours other than an I'm sorry. And I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, honestly, like, I'm out. I'm done. Like the fact that you could just leave me anxious. So instead, for the
First,
whole
he
week,
wanted to talk all about his situation with his ex-wife and their kids, but he told her like he hadn't called her at all during the whole archery thing. And then when he's finally going to talk to her about why he hasn't talked to her all weekend or like paid any attention to her and left her like completely anxious when she was supposedly just his girlfriend like a couple days before that. Then
like
after
the
he
best girl
finishes,
he's ever met, the only girl he would ever consider dating after being with this woman for 13 years. Like, I've completely changed the game for him. And honestly, in my head, I was like, probably so. Like he probably realizes like I'm a very logical, mentally as healthy as I can be person who's really kind at her core and who doesn't do things just to give someone anxiousness or just to lie. I live an extremely transparent life and it's very evident if you know me in real life. And so I could believe like I think that's a value in somebody else if I think they see me that way. But they
so
can
then
see
she
that
finally
not right.
listens to him, and he proceeds to tell her that he knows he fucked up and that he still wants to date her. And he goes, "Well, I think you want to date me." And I'm looking at her like, "Ooh, I don't know about this."
Yeah, and I
And
don't, and I thought like maybe Carissa took that as like he was being cocky. I took it as he saw that I was still interested after I tried to break up with him last week. So all week long, it's like regular. It's regular, but not regular. He said he was gonna, I understand I hurt you last weekend and I'm gonna put forth the effort and I shouldn't have done that and all this shit. But then we go through the week and it's like the same shitty stuff, like barely talking and like we'll just text all day and then it'll be the evening and he'll be
I'm
like,
exhausted.
yeah, I'm exhausted. I'm just gonna hit the hay with the kids at 9 o'clock at night. And then you're on social media like all night long. I can see it. But also like if you hadn't heard from me all day, wouldn't you want to call? But also I normally am not the type of girl to ask for stuff like that. It's just the inconsistency. So I think the lesson for you guys is in that part is that you think you're going crazy like asking for too much. You're just asking for the same thing. So anyways, I've messaged him a couple times this week and just been like, I'm out. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm not trying to be rude. I don't even dislike you. I just don't want to be involved in all this. Like, it's too much baby mama drama. I got in his car the other day and I found the picture with the brick girl and the two friends and the two kids. And I'm like, why do you have 5 copies of this picture in your phone? Like that, or not in your phone, in your car, like in your middle console. That's weird. Because he wasn't in the picture. So why do you need those pictures? I don't care if you have them. I'm just like, that just seems odd. And also, I think when you're triggered, you like everything starts registering maybe a little bit more. So now I'm like, 10 things ago, we were too many. So we go through the whole archery day. Also, he makes very light of he told me I was beating him while he was down because I was asking, like, what are you going to do anything to change the situation? Or, like, I asked him flat out, like, why should I believe you? Because I don't. Or what's in this relationship for me if you're going to continue this? I'm very, like, frank. I'm exactly how you guys would want me to be. I'm just like, if you're not going to perform, then get off the stage. But, like, I didn't ask you to be up there. So shit or get off the pot. And so while we're in at the archery thing, he's like texting me pictures of the turkey feeders, saying he's gonna go out to St. Joe and fill those feeders for me and take me to shoot a turkey. And I'm like, that's funny because you were not answering me the other day, and now you're like gonna drive hours to go fill up a fucking turkey feeder because you know that that's gonna reel me in. Also, the fact that that will do it is kind of ridiculous. But anyways, I don't know. I wrote him back and I'm like, babe, do you think I'm stupid? I'm pretty, but I'm not dumb. Like you have been acting XYZ way, so I'll believe it when it happens. Call me when the feeders are full. I don't believe any of that. Um, also, another thing to know too, if you're going through something like this, when I say it changes, we would have like flirty conversations, like conversations about sexual stuff, all that. Like I have received pictures, whatever. And like it when I say it completely changed the last 2 weeks, I mean there's no babe, there's no you're beautiful, there's no sexual stuff, there's no flirting, it's very like, good morning, how are you? Did you sleep good? And then not talk, it's just weird. So as we're having this conversation, actually I think this is how the conversation starts on Sunday night. He's telling me my text messages aren't going through because I'm trying to send him some videos that he didn't ask for. And I thought that was weird that he didn't ask anything about how I did when, like, you're my hype guy. God, I can't believe I'm about to say this. He sends me a screenshot. I'm so mad now. That's good. I'd rather be mad. He sends me a screenshot of his phone, of my text messages in his phone. Previously, I was in his top 9, bottom middle. My face is there. He's told me before that my face is popped up in the car when he's with the kids and stuff. And my name's Becca Boo in his phone. And there was 2 other times where I felt like he was like moving a gray circle around on his message page, like that he was moving something in or out of the top 9, which is weird that I even noticed that, but I just registered it and never brought it up to let it go. And then there was another time at dinner where I thought he was on my contact and he was doing something, which was like, how did I even notice that? Because I'm not the kind of girl to notice stuff like that. But I also believe when stuff happens, it's God. So long story short, he sends me a screenshot of me texting him, showing me the texts aren't going through, and my name in his phone is the letter Z, and I don't have a picture. And I can't even type out the words before I'm already calling him, going, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "What the fuck? Why is my name in your phone as the last letter of the alphabet?" And there's no picture. Like, you're telling me stuff's not, because when I kept saying like stuff feels inconsistent, he'd be like, "I don't know why you feel like that. Like, I don't feel any different. Like, I still just think you're the greatest thing, and I'm so happy to be with you," and blah blah blah. And I drive out there and I mow your grass and I spend $300 on hotels every weekend. And so you're like thinking, okay, maybe I'm going crazy, but why the fuck is my name in your phone under the letter Z? And where's my picture? Like, this is weird. But also, if you're gonna act that way, just go away, bro. That's what I said 50 times. Just leave me alone. Like, I don't want to do this. And so it gets to the point where then you just get pissed off, like I don't know. And I think that's where I am right now, where I'm just like, bro, you should just left me alone. Go get you whoever. Go have fun with all the Britneys and the ex-wives and whatever you want. So,
His explanation for the Z was is he didn't want his
oh,
ex-wife to
and
lose.
during the archery weekend, mind you, he told me that his ex-wife wants to get back with him. It very much looks like she does, but I don't think she does. Uh, During archery weekend, that Saturday was his kid's birthday. He tells me that, or so I know he's going to be there with her at this party during this kid's birthday, and he's like telling me like it's not going to be a big deal because her whole family still loves him and all this kind of stuff. But we have talked about this. I mean, he even asked me if he should even contribute to it because it was expensive. Like, we've talked in detail about all this stuff. So then to just not say anything about how the party went was very odd to me. But then also to know that I know you're going to this party with this woman that in my head I is making it look like she wants to get back with you and she doesn't want you with anybody else. And to just not, like, usually he'd be the type of guy that would like say something to quell that or whatever. And it was like a lot of times he would do stuff where I'm like, if that's true, that's like really manipulative to do. So I don't know if he's doing that on purpose. But then I caught myself feeling like I was with Ben, where you're either guilty or dumb. But then I started thinking, like, I don't think he's guilty. Like when he would say, I don't even know how you figured out how I was online. I don't even know how that works. I'm not tech savvy. But like, you sure did whoop up. Like, I was trying to play that video I made of us at the ranch and cover his face with the clown face, but I don't know how to do that, so I haven't posted it just because I look cute. But also, and I was having a good time. My friends would enjoy watching me be happy, but you're over here making freaking horse cart. Like when I first like told him on the cruise ship that he crossed my boundary with staying out and not respecting, consistency or whatever. He like I woke up to a plethora of texts. He had made a meme of him holding me in the air and like photoshopped our faces on other people's bodies. Like, so if we're not a tech savvy guy, he's better than me. If you could take that video I sent you and put your clown face over it, that'd be great. Or I could just post it how it is. Um, so he tells me that's the letter Z, and he says the reason he put me in his phone as the letter Z was because he's going to his kid's birthday party with his ex-wife, and he doesn't want her to see his phone and freak out. Because like 2 weeks ago, he said they got in like a physical thing where, I don't know. Krista, what did he say? Because I don't believe any of it. What did he say happened at his house
It
with
was
the
during
door?
their drop off, and he basically said that um
He acts like on text message it's this massive thing that they just got in. He's trying to cool down 5 hours later. When I call him about it and I'm like, hey, you didn't tell me anything about
yeah.
it. He's like, it's too much to text, so we can talk about it. So then we try to talk about it. And it's like the whole time I feel like he's trying to come up with what happened. Like he's very slow about what happened. He's making up all these things, which he did about
Yeah,
last weekend too.
he's talking about dropping off the kids, but then he's talking about how she's
She
upset, and
threw her
then
phone at him and he tried to
Mhm.
push open the door and she closed it, and I'm just thinking like, carnival, I'm not doing this. Like that is way more than I want to be involved in. He says that like the kids know that when they fight that they go to their rooms, and so that's a red flag for me because this is consistent. And he's telling me one minute he's like, I'm trying to get a visual in my head about how this is all playing out, but the stuff he's saying isn't making sense. Later on, when I do that, he tells me like, yeah, I feel like you've been thinking more than usual lately and you've been trying to get more information. And I'm like, more information? Like, no, I'm just trying to like understand the situation. If you tell me you're in the house already, but then now you tell me you're trying to, at one point he made it sound like he was trying to close the door from the inside and she was trying to open it. And then from
he
one
said
point he makes it
I
sound,
was holding the door open.
yeah,
So
I heard him say that.
we
But
don't
then
know from what
Angle,
direction.
because yeah, it just didn't make any sense. But also, I don't want to be involved in any of that. And now you're changing my name in your phone to the letter Z, and he's laughing about it. And he's like, "Oh yeah, that does look bad. Yep, that looks real bad." And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, if I'm this girl that you're like so happy with, why is all this stuff happening?
Also,
So,
he told Becca that like he hadn't dated or anything like since his
and that he
divorce. Like he
didn't know
never,
how to.
he didn't know how to. He hadn't really been in a serious relationship. But then when he talked about her letter changing her name and his phone, he said, "Well, that's just what when I was dating chicks, like
Yep.
that's what I
He
would
goes, I
do."
do
And I
that
was
with
like,
all my chicks. And I'm like, your chicks? And he's like, yeah, I don't want her to freak out. So I change. I go, isn't that a lot of work when you can just like set a boundary? And like, I'm really trying to believe that she's this crazy person and that she's, still wants to be with him because he like flat out told me that and all this stuff. And I'm like, I, I don't know. I even tried to like watch their wedding video to convince me that he was really the person that I thought. But anyways, so we go through this week and it's just breadcrumbs all week long. That's what it is. When it's like still inconsistent, there's no extra effort for sure. It's just like breadcrumbs all week. So, the other day I was like, no, when was it? A couple times this week, honestly. I've just written him and I've been like, listen, I'm out. I'm done. I don't want to do this. I'm not angry with you. I just don't want to be involved in this consistent lack of consistency. And like, I don't want to feel like I'm asking for something that you weren't giving me, whatever. And then so I messaged him yesterday, and because he started messaging me again, like anytime I pull away, he'll start messaging a bunch. And so I was like, listen, this is already a really stressful weekend for me. My dad died this weekend. Like, he knew all about that. And I thought he would be here too. Like, normally he would. He showed up to mow my grass and I didn't ask. And so, I was like, are you going to add or subtract to my stress this weekend? And he was like, I'm going to subtract. And I'm like, okay. But then it was still like breadcrumb all day. So last night, he calls me, like he called me 2 nights ago. I was at dinner. I didn't really feel like talking, so I said no offense, but like I told you before, like I don't really have the desire to chat or the time. Like I just don't want to. I'm not like the girl who will like go blow your phone up and act crazy. I don't, no thanks. So he calls me last night at 11 o'clock, which I thought was odd because usually he'd be so exhausted by 11 o'clock. And it was like he was adamant, not adamant. It felt like he wanted to make sure that he got to speak to me on the phone. And he told me about the stuff with his ex. And the way he talked about her was just totally different. It was like he woke up all of a sudden and had all these boundaries and these opinions about her. And it was just like a totally different person. But I was proud of him. I was like, well, that's great. Like, I'm so happy for that. And then he starts telling me like I can't keep up with your expectations, and I was like, what expectations? And to make that whole long story short, after I've already told him like, you don't need to call me tonight, I've heard enough, I don't want to hear anything else, you're off my hook, I feel like you're like just wishy-washy and back and forth with me, and I just don't want to do this. Like, you're supposed to be meeting my kid. This is weird. I don't want to do that. And that was the biggest deal for me. Like, I don't want to actually, I'd already told my kid like 3 or 4 days ago he was not going to meet Blake at graduation because Whoopi goes, glad you found out the issues. I was like, because he has some issues that I just don't want to deal with, and I just don't think it's a good time for me to have a romantic partner. And I do think that's true. Anyways, so last night he calls me back and he basically tells me that, well, he had told me yesterday during the day that he would see me on Sunday. And I'm like, that's weird. He just told me that his ex-wife said she wants the kids at 3 o'clock today. So why would you wait till Sunday to like hang out? You know, that's not normal for us, especially if you're trying to like go above and beyond. And he tells me about Sunday like during the day yesterday. Well, then at night, last night, he says, "Well, I was gonna see you on Sunday anyway." And I go, "Don't you think it's weird that like you didn't even ask me what I'm doing this weekend? Like that's not normal for us." And he's like, "Well, I have this birthday party to go to." And I'm like, "Okay." And this is the first time I've ever heard of it. And he tells me everything about everything. He shows me the text messages with the ex-wife. He shows me the group text with the guys. Like, he doesn't tell me everything, but he clues me in on a lot. He's never talked about this party. So I was like, and it's one of his really good friends. Not only that, but like some of his best friends' wives follow my Instagram and have followed for like 8 years. So like, it's not a shock. They're Even if they don't know who I am and they just followed me a long time ago, if I'm the girl that's suddenly convincing this man to start dating again, why would you not want me around your friends? But also, how come you've never mentioned this party? And wouldn't this be the prime opportunity for you to take me to meet your friends? Because I've brought that up before, how I've never been to do anything in Rockwall. I've never like hung out with his friends. He said that some of his friends are a piece of shit, and the ones that aren't, like he just doesn't hang out with them a whole lot. So hadn't really had the opportunity to introduce me to them. That's a red flag, girls. Don't believe that, because he goes to like dinner at least once a week with his friends when he has his kid, and when he doesn't have his kid and I'm not around, he's out with them. So the idea that he's saying like, oh, you haven't met my parents or my anything, and it's been like almost 3 months, you would think like you would think you'd meet, I'm not his kids for sure, but like at least his best friends who you're group texting about me to and sending our pictures. But anyways, the guy has a birthday party and I'm your girlfriend, and you're telling me you want to like fix everything, and you're going to this party now and telling me suddenly right before the party that I didn't even know about, that you don't think you can meet my expectations, you don't think you're capable. When a man says I don't think I can meet your expectations, that is not a you problem, that is a his problem, and it's very hard to understand or to really grasp that. But what he's saying is I don't want to, because I kept saying I don't understand, and it triggered me to the Ray situation. Ray would always say like I'm not going to be able to meet your expectations. And I'm like, but you are. Ray could meet these expectations, but he couldn't meet the commitment ones. This guy, Rancher, was like meeting all of the expectations and telling me how committed he was. I wasn't the one that wanted to be committed. And so he's like over and over again, just like, I'm so committed to you, blah, blah, blah. And I used to think, like, what does committed to you mean? Okay. Like, I'm not, okay. Anyways. So what happened after that, Carissa? I feel like it was a lot more exciting. Like we talked about a lot more drama than I told today. But really, I just wanted my friends to know, like, this shit, like they can still dance with you in Waffle House. And then I found out later that like Waffle House was like him and his ex's place. Like it was their first kiss or something. I'm like, what? Why take me there? Like, I don't. And then he said the other day, we were turning from where I used to live on Yarberry, and he was like, Waffle House is our place. And I'm just like, is that really what my life's come to? Our place is, I love Waffle House, but like, also sometimes I'd be in those shitty hotels and I'd say out loud, like, is this really what we're doing, Becca? Like, you're not even at the Vin, bitch. But anyways, it was okay because to me it was like the effort, and I'm not that kind of girl, so I didn't care. And he did go out of his way a lot of times. Like he did such romantic stuff while we were at the Deer Lease, but also like I saw a girl text his phone and he like blew it off and said that he was like, I'm not gonna go down the list and like text every single girl that messages or that's ever messaged me and say I have a girlfriend now. But if anybody messages me, I'll let them know that I'm very happy with where I'm at and I'm in a relationship with somebody. So there was no inkling in my head that we were not together. I just didn't want, like I kept telling my friends all the time, like he keeps saying he's my boyfriend. He's not my boyfriend. But, you know, but then don't give me that idea either. So anyways, so then I guess the point of last night was it's just really shitty that Like, we could have left it at the text message of me saying, "You're off the hook. You don't need to call me. I understand you've crossed too many of my boundaries and I'm not here for the inconsistency. Like, I wish you the best. I truly do." But to call me last night and then tell me all these things. And I was like, "Why are you doing this? Like, this is like my dad died this weekend 4 years ago. Like, it's already a hard weekend for me. I have no, I don't want to talk about it. I'm going to cry. Like, I don't have any family up here. Like, you could have just let my text message to you stick. But like to call me last night and say, like, you deserve so much better and you deserve more, and you're so confused, you're like, I didn't even ask for that stuff. Like, I don't like you the way you're portraying that I do, like that much, but I don't like the manipulation. And that's the part that really pissed me off, because here I am, like, annoyed with my own friends because they're thinking I'm I was texting them during archery weekend every time he's fucking up, and I was like, look, I told y'all, like, and I'm probably sounded really aggressive because I was annoyed because you come so far after getting gaslit for so long about things, and you you try to make these healthier choices, and then sometimes people think that, like, you're still trying to sabotage things. Like, I think I'm an extremely healthy partner. I think my actual friends would tell, like, my girlfriends would tell you that same thing, but I have to be with somebody who's very emotionally intelligent and emotionally mature. Like, I put our text in the situation that happened into ChatGPT, and it told me that he was incredibly emotionally immature. He would call me and say stuff like, "I just want you to know I'm very conscious of your feelings and I'm considerate, and everything you do, I want to consider how you feel." And I called Chris and I was like, "Ray literally had a conversation with me and said, I like you so much, but I don't want to have to consider what you think." So I respect Ray now because he told me that. I respect Ray now because he told me, you cannot be understanding what I want from this relationship because a girl like you would never tolerate that. So I know you don't get it, and I really want you to get it. To me, even if what he wanted isn't biblical or isn't ethical or whatever I think, it's what he wanted, and he was trying to explain that to me. In this situation, he's like, I want you to, like, don't double down on the shit that I've been through and say, because, like, I've told him that too, that Ray said that. So when he said it, I was like, oh my God, he's telling me he's conscious of my feelings. I really need to, like, stop blocking this guy out and let him, like, love me back. Um, he would always say, I hope you believe me when I say who I say I am. Um, but like, I do believe you, who you say, who, like, you are who you say you are, but then you get defensive when I bring up anything. You say just, I'm sorry, and nothing else. And I would tell him, like, we're, oh, also, like, he would stop watching my stories. Like, he used to watch all my stories, and then he just totally stopped watching them, which I thought was odd. But he also stopped checking any of the reels I sent him. Like, there'd be like 10, so I'd just go delete them all because I don't want to look like an idiot. But also, we used to send those back and forth to each other. Like, he would send me all kinds of mushy romantic stuff. So again, I have never had the question this whole last 2 weeks about whether or not there's someone else. I don't care because I don't want to be a part of that either. I just think it's really shitty that people can blame everything else on the other partner and then be out there saying the things that they're saying that may not be factual. Like, I know how it feels for people to say things that are untrue about me. This video is public. He can see it. He follows this. Well, I think I took him off of this as a follower, but you can see my other account. Like, word's gonna get around that I'm on this video right now, and I'm definitely not taking it down. And I don't hate the guy. I just think he kept saying last night, like, I don't want you to think I'm shitty. I don't want you to think I'm a piece of shit. And I said, if you really didn't want me to, like, bro, you could have waited till like Monday, you know? Like, or you could have just not done any of this, because I didn't need you to call me because I had already told you I didn't want to be involved. I'd said it several times this week. And you were like, talk to me, babe. Why are you ignoring me? Like, one time he asked me, like, what are you doing? And I said, losing interest. Like, I was very honest about it. But he would say stuff like, please just let me work through my shit. And you're just the girl for me. I just know it. And I don't know. But I don't care. Like, I told him last night, you can take out the kid situation, the ex-wife drama. You can take out your work stress. You can take out the Brittany situation. All those things, even if they never existed, the way you treat me when you're not with me is not acceptable to me. So I'm out based off all that. And I was like, you should have thought about that first. But it's like last night, he just wanted to make it a point to act like he was the one breaking up with me. And it didn't make any sense. And then he asked if we could still be friends after this and hang out and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, is this bro thinking that he's going to do this and then go to this party tonight at his friend's house in Corsicana or wherever the fuck? Which, the things guys say about their other friends too, that's a whole other topic. And the friends, not wives, because apparently this one's not engaged or been engaged forever, never going to get married or something. I don't know. I don't care. It's none of my business. And I'm not trying to, like, do all that. I'm an extremely honest person all the time. To the point where my brother called me the other day and was like, sis, you know what we all realized when you came down here? Like, we're 99% honest with our lives and you are 100. Like, there is nothing. He was like, what you give up is your lack of privacy, but you are by far the most transparent person that we've ever met. And I understand that, but I don't need I don't need like privacy like that, because I wish I could get on here and tell you guys how every single thing ends up. That way you guys could learn from it or not feel so crazy or not feel like you're, doing something wrong and all this. I wish I could have jumped on the phone with you guys a week ago and been like, y'all, my name in his phone now is, and then like he writes me these novel paragraphs, but then he also like puts an arrow on the screen to show that he changed my name back. Well, there's already 2 other times that I thought you were like doing something with my name in your phone. So that's weird. Well, and then, there's the whole time you left your phone off for 24 hours, which I thought was so that she didn't impede our time. So, moral of the story is, if the guy's telling you that his ex-wife thinks he's dating some other girl and he brings it up like multiple weeks and you don't even know the girl and never ask the question, there's probably something going on. Number two, if he knows he has a birthday party and you're not invited to that birthday party and he's like, oh, he's had the birthday party planned for like a month. And I'm like, then how did you not say anything till now? Like we've already decided you're going to cook fajitas at my kid's graduation and my brothers are going to be there. You like FaceTime with my family. But also, I told my friends from the beginning, I feel like this guy's like, super like into me and he's not telling his friends that he is. And so that makes me feel like what he's saying to me is probably a lie. And I don't know why I felt like that, but it's probably true, because if they're watching this right now, I'm sure he didn't tell you like all the millions of things that he did or said, or oh God, the paragraphs about how I was just like the most perfect girl and I changed everything for him, changed the game for him, and he's never like wanted to be around somebody. He told me I was his home, that I made him feel safe. And I'm like, did he say that because I told him that's what Joel told me? Because I get that a lot from guys. Like, I don't want to be anybody's home or make them feel safe. Y'all bitches need to make me feel safe. But at the end of the day, I didn't post any of this to be catty or anything. I don't want any of that. I just know that like there's a girl out there that is definitely getting, I don't know what version is the truth, because he said that, because I was like, do you talk to your parents about this ex-wife situation? Like, what do they say? And they're like, no, they just block her. So I'm like, okay, maybe they're all like emotionally avoidant. But then he told me that he does not talk to his dad about what's going on because he doesn't want to hear what he has to say. So I'm like, okay, avoidant again. But I don't know. And I also didn't think it was like a horrible thing that he lived with his parents, because I thought that like he got divorced like 7 or 8 months ago, and it took a long time, he said, for her to refinance the house and give him his portion. So I was like, okay, well, that's no big deal. But at the same time, like, he was telling me like what neighborhoods in Rockwall and Heath were oh, I guess I just said where he lived. Fuck. But he was like telling me what neighborhoods were good. Like, I don't know. And just don't do that. Don't do that. And then, especially to somebody who's already been through so much. And like, I'm not the girl to gaslight. I'll tell you right now. Like, just don't do that. I'm not even mad about it. I'm disappointed. And that's what I told him. Like, I'm not mad at you. He was like, I don't want to. He texted me all day yesterday. I don't want to disappoint you. I'm like, stop. Just stop. But I think he felt like he had to get that call in last night so that he could just go to bed while I spiraled out of control. And then he didn't have to deal with my emotions and he could use that he was sleeping. But if he did it today, he'd have to take time out of his day to do that. Then he'd have to deal with me texting him about it. Then he'd have to deal with maybe I called. Then he'd feel shitty about tonight. So then I called Carissa this morning and I was like, there's probably a lot of girls that we're friends with on the internet that have been through shit like this, and they like feel like they're going crazy or they're being needy or asking for too much. Like, I'm not needy. I'm asking for consistency. I don't need you to do any of those things. You could take them all away. Like, but if you're going to do them and then you stop doing them, I'm going to notice that pattern. So perhaps in the future, what I could learn from this is to make the person I'm dating very clear that I am super hypersensitive to like consistency and pattern changes. And I'm going to want to talk to you about that. I won't be aggressive. I won't be accusatory. I just want to address that this is how I'm feeling and we can go from there, which I think is very healthy. But in this case, I mean, I don't know. I know like long term, Chris is like, you have the whole world at your feet right now. You can go anywhere, live anywhere, do whatever you want to do. You have this huge story that, needs to come out and all that stuff. And like for me, I need to stop seeing men who I need to stop seeing it as such a treat if a man like has sympathy for my situation, because I don't ask for sympathy. So when I get that, I'm like, oh, he's really nice, or he's empathetic or whatever. But I'll be honest with you, I don't fucking want anybody. Like, I'll be honest, I really no. Like, I don't even want to finish that sentence. I'd rather just do what's familiar and down the road. Like, no, I don't want that. I don't want emotions. I was so good by myself. Like, I was feeling normal. And I feel like now I have archery as my outlet and I'm really good at it. Krista thinks he's jealous, but okay, let me tell you all the truth. A couple weeks ago, he told me that he shot 2 doe and a buck. I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm just trying to tell you, factually speaking. The first time I called Krista and told her I had the ick, he told me he shot 2 doe and a buck. And I was like, oh, last year? And he's like, I didn't shoot anything last year. I promise I'm not being petty. I'm saying I think it's odd that this was an ick for me. He told me that he shot 2 doe and a buck. And I was like, okay. I was like, oh, yeah, when do you shoot those? And he's like, no, ever. And I'm like, haven't you been on that deer lease for like 10 years? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, and you've only shot 2 doe and a buck? And he's like, yeah. And I called Krista and I was like, I think I just got the ick. I know. And for me, that's when I felt like I was like, isn't that so bad? That's bad. Like, it sounds petty and not nice. And then I brought it up later when I was trying to break up with him, but not break up with him that night. And he was like, you fucking bitch. And I was like, I know he's just joking saying that right now, but he said that word real freely. But also, you only shot 2 doe and a buck in that long? Like, it made what Krista said about the archery thing make a little more sense. Look how pretty that looks. It made it look, but also I do think he was proud of me. I just think he probably didn't know how to handle me, or I don't know. I don't care how he was. I don't, I feel nothing. I literally feel like the Megan Maroney song. Like, I'm not mad, but also just here's my tip. If the ex isn't that crazy, just say that y'all split up. Like, don't share it with your new partners. Don't tell us about her sex life with other people. Don't do all that stuff, because we don't need to know, and it doesn't make you look good as a man to like bash another woman. I can tell you what my ex-husband did, but I can tell you that for 15 years, the marriage I portrayed on the internet was the marriage I thought I was in. I wasn't feeding anybody bullshit. I wasn't sugarcoating anything. He really was like all those things for a long time until he wasn't, and until I started picking up on that. But like, I just think it's shitty for guys to do this to people, and then I'm not supposed to say anything because I have all this other stuff going on. And if I say something, then that's why I didn't say anything. Oh my God, something else horrible happened to me along the way with all this dating stuff, and I never told a soul because I was like, it's already hard enough to believe I've been through all the other stuff. They would never believe this, but that kind of was the trigger for me too this morning. I thought like I've been through some like really horrible stuff that I probably should have gone to the police for, and I didn't, because I didn't want them to not believe me, because that's what happened to me when I was a kid. And then as an adult when I was married, like, who's doing anything about it right now? Like the slow ass police or the 50-year long IRS. But the point of all that is to say, I woke up today feeling like I don't want to stress about this. I don't want people are already asking me questions. I didn't go to a singles event for myself the other night. I went to be a wing woman for my girlfriend Cassie. I didn't look for anybody there. There was no hot dudes. And honestly, I don't need to go to a singles event like at doing something that I've never like that I don't normally do. I'd go to like an archery. Like, I would have done something for that I'm interested in if it was for me. But I know you guys have questions, and I feel so guilty when you're like super supportive about stuff, but also when you don't get the whole story. Also, Krista was supposed to talk way more because she left out like 5,000 details we talked about this morning, but I don't even care at this point. I just want you guys to know that sometimes you can dance, they can dance with you at Waffle House at 3 in the morning. They can drive an hour and a half both ways. They can take off like, he took off a day of vacation to go on our date, but like when I had my mouth surgery, he didn't say a thing. And so my girlfriends were like, how did he not come over, not call, not say anything? But like, he took half a day off to go, or he took 2 days off for us to go to the ranch on the 21st and 22nd of April that just passed, Easter weekend. And then for some reason we didn't go because he said the ranch owner called him and told him they had bad weather and he didn't want them driving on the roads. I don't know if that's really true because, like I said, we went through this whole having his
And
friend be.
that's when he brought that guy on the phone to talk to her to explain this whole situation of why they couldn't go to this ranch. And he was asking that guy to validate what he was saying. It was
But
really
it sounded
weird.
like they were like making it up on the fly because
Yeah, it was so
Chris is
weird.
on three-way and he doesn't know it because it got to the point where I'm like, am I going crazy? Like, I need to know for sure.
She's
But
like, could you
also,
just listen to this? And I'm like, what? And she's like, he just brought this guy on the phone. I'm going to add you to the call. And I was like, okay.
and also, so I don't care if the trolls label me. First of all, they can label me whatever the fuck they want. I don't care if everyday people say like, "Oh, if you date Becca, she's gonna tell." This is the first time I've ever sat down in my entire life and told you everything that, not even everything. That's like 40% of what happened in a relationship that I've been in. But also, like, if you don't want me to have to record the things you say so I can play them back and see if I'm getting gaslit or add my friend onto a phone call, you're welcome to do that to me too. You're welcome to share every picture I've ever sent you. Go ahead. You're welcome to do any of that stuff. But whatever I said on that video is what I would say in real life. So if you don't want that done to you, then don't gaslight people. At the end of the day, we shouldn't have to be recording phone calls or like asking our friends to listen to see if we're correct or sending text messages to our girlfriends. Like Krista even was like fighting with her own beliefs about him because she's like, the only thing is you've never called me and told me like, can you look at his text? What does he mean? Because he was very consistent. Like
Hmm.
you would have thought for sure this man is in love with her. I would have thought that by like week two, but that's not realistic to be in love with someone. And I didn't feel that way. And I hadn't told him till the day he came and mowed my grass. That was the first day that I was like, I think I might actually like you too. And he was like, what's wrong with that? And I was like, well, it's scary for me because that means there's like feelings involved. When I was with Joel at this point in our relationship, I was planning a wedding for us in Greece. Like I was head over heels, like absolutely in love. There was no, I was like, what color roses should we? I was texting people from the cruise on Christmas talking about, do you want to be my bridesmaid? Like it's totally different. But also, I think that like you really should not. One of the key things, and I told him this stuff too. I told him, number one, I can help you make boundaries with your ex, but I'm going to resent you, and it's going to make me emasculate you in the future, and I don't want to do that. I want to be in a feminine position in a relationship, and that's never happened for me before. So it's going to require me letting go of a lot of control. So whenever he wasn't working out these situations with her, or whenever they're like arguing about how he always says she's trying to keep the kids from him and all this kind of stuff, and that she said if he doesn't move out in 6 months then she's going to get full custody, all this kind of stuff, and I'd be like, she doesn't get to like say that, but I don't want to solve these problems for you because then it makes it feel like you're going to resent me later if you regret any of the decisions you made. Because I told him maybe you should just go back to her. Like if you can't create a boundary with her, just go back. Like clearly you like being told what to do, and I don't mean that in like a petty way. I mean that in like, if that's what your heart tells you to do, because I'm not the girl that like will be passive aggressive or say mean shit. But I'm also not the girl that will literally tell you I'm going to sleep and then be up. Like sometimes I'd be like, how'd you sleep last night? And he'd be like, oh, I woke up at 4. And I'd be like, checks out, because I saw him on the internet at 4. And then other nights he'd be like, no, I slept hard. And I'm like, bro, it said 38 minutes ago. And I would be texting and he would be not responding. And he would tell me like, oh, I don't read anybody's messages. Or he told me that he didn't take me to the party because he doesn't take just anybody around his friends. That's what he told me last night. And I said, just anybody. I didn't know it was just anybody. I thought according to you, I was your girlfriend, but okay. And then he's like, well, I mean, like, I don't take all the girls that I date around all my friends. All the girls that you date? I thought you didn't date girls. So I asked him if the other girl was going to be there. The girl he keeps bringing up that I never cared about. She's a pretty girl, but also, like, I don't worry about what's going to happen with them because he's not going to change from one girl to the next. But also, I don't care what happens with them because it has nothing to do with me. I don't owe her anything. If anything, I feel a little bit sorry for the ex-wife in the situation just because the amount of stuff that he shares with people. Like I tell you everything Ben did, but everything Ben did is factual. When I say he stole money, he stole millions, he hid millions, he gaslighted me, he attacked me in my house. I have proof of all that on paper. So I just think like when you don't know if someone's telling the truth, and then you hear them too, like kind of talk about their friends. And when they say certain things, you're like, wow, like it makes you like think like you won't hear me talk shit about like what am I going to say about Krissa that everybody else doesn't know? What parts she drives me crazy about? She knows, you know. She'll tell you what drives, but I don't say like mean things to other people. So if anything, I maybe feel sorry for like the ex-wife a little bit, but also I did see some crazy shit from both sides. Like if I'm being honest, I don't know if they're like the fact that he said that she threw her phone at him because he leaned over on his legs and told his kids out the door, kids, mom said, come inside. I'm like, a woman doesn't throw her phone unless it's out of an emotional response. So I'll never know. But also, I didn't want to be the crazy girl and to quell my own anxiousness or questions. And I know I'm more heightened this weekend because my dad died. Like, I didn't want to be the girl that contacted the ex. I don't do that. But also, it's not fair for me to just have to sit with these emotions because he was incapable of being honest. He should have just been like, "Hey, it was a great chase. I thought you were way out of my league," because he used to tell me that all the time. And he'd be like, "I thought you were way out of my league, and then I caught you, and now I'm not interested." And I'd have been like, "Okay, bro, peace out." Like, did you see the freaking lineup at TAC? And those boys know how to shoot a deer. Like, no offense, but I'm just saying. And so it is what it is. My husband is like in Nebraska or South Dakota or Georgia, Oklahoma. He ain't here. And I'm not ready for him even if he came. So that's just how that works. But I did think, oh, and the biggest deal for why I got on the video today is because when I posted that picture of the horse with the clown face, the Hidden Valley Ranch thing, so many of you guys thought that Crystal and the Trolls made it. And I didn't say anything, and nobody asked me, did they make that or anything? But the stuff that you would say, I would never want to mislead you about the stuff they've done either. So it was just, that's the first thing I brought up to Krissa. But it was also like one of the biggest red flags for me right away. Like, even my girlfriend bought us like these Hidden Valley Ranch shirts, but like, she's petty like that. And she's super protective. So, and she's fucking funny. And I don't, not that I think it's that funny, but had we still been together, like, he thought it was great. He thought it was wonderful. It is funny, but how far he took it was like a little too far. And then, just tell his family, like, oh, it's an inside joke. So you don't have to say why you really have that sticker on your car. Or when I buy you a birthday present and you tell your family you bought it for yourself. Like, what? Why not just tell them, like, you've been seeing this girl for like 3 months and you tell her you're like head over heels for her, but I don't know. But just know I'm going to be happy again with somebody else, and they're going to do nice things, and they're going to drive far, and they're going to take me to their ranch and all that. And you can be happy for me too. We just don't know till we know, or at least 6 months, which I've always told Krissa is ridiculous and way too long. And who waits that long? And people before that. Sometimes you really don't. And like I said, I'm not mad at the dude. I just think you could have done this a different way. And it's real fucked up to have fucked up my weekend last weekend. Sorry, it paused me. I think I was supposed to do this. Um, I think it's really shitty to do that to me last weekend and make me have to self-regulate in the middle of something I was already super nervous about. But and the fact that the performance was based off my nervous system to disrupt it like that was just so egregious to me that there was no coming back from it. But then to like when I kept trying to break it off all week this week, to wait till the night before this thing that you're going to so that you can feel good about going to this. I asked him if that girl's coming. He's like, oh, I don't think so. I doubt it. Like, wait a minute. So y'all have a fucking blast out there tonight. I'll leave this video up. Maybe you could play it around the campfire or something. To your friend, happy birthday. Sorry we didn't get to hang out. I'm really funny. It would have been entertaining at least. And to him, like, I told him last night, I don't know how to end the conversation. Like, good luck. I wish you the best. I don't wish you anything. I don't need you think you need luck. I think you need boundaries and maturity. But I'm not mad at you either. I literally just don't care. But this is probably the first time I've ever got out of something too, and I don't care. And I think the fact that I don't care speaks volumes about how much I've grown. Because with Ray, I was fucking devastated. It was so, that is an exact example of falling in love with somebody for their potential. Potentially, if Ray hadn't just gotten divorced, if he like was ready to just be with one person, it could have worked. But I'm convinced that God did not put the man God put you guys have to really understand. I think that I have behaved so well for God. This is called a cognitive distortion, that he has this like perfect guy for me. But it's also, which is not good to think like that. You don't think you get gifts because you be a good Christian. But also the fact that I literally just won't settle anymore, and I tell myself immediately, like, there's no way that God can think that's what I deserve. There's no way, like, the man that I think God picked for me would never have left me anxious at archery, would never have left me, like, during my surgery with my mouth, and you don't do all those things and then bring it down to nothing and then tell the girl that it's I don't know. To me, gaslighting is like, it's even disrespectful beyond like manipulative. So if you already know that someone's been through that and you do it too, like you're just a special kind of shitty human. And last night he's like, I don't want you to think I'm a shitty person. And I said, if you don't want me to think you're a shitty person, don't do shitty things to people.